What up, Hype Squad? It's your boy Lucrecio coming at you with another video. And if you're new to the page, welcome to exceedthehype.com. To join the Hype Squad, all you got to do is click the subscribe button, alright? So, today's video is about the Phoenix Suns GM and his choice comments towards one Rich Paul today. So, apparently Ryan McDonough, the GM for the Phoenix Suns, stated that Eric Bledsoe's I want out tweet and his stance with the Phoenix Suns right now and the issue they have going on is not because of Eric Bledsoe's true feelings. It's because of Rich Paul, his representation. He said that he got some bad advice from his representation and that's why he chose to do it. Basically saying, Eric Bledsoe is just listening to Rich Paul and is making bad decisions because of what Rich Paul is telling him to do. And it's very interesting to say. It's basically a shot at his agent or whatever, saying that his agent is basically telling him to do stupid stuff, basically. And it's interesting to see the relationships that's starting to kind of come apart. Now, once again, agent, GM, they're not friends. I mean, I guess they have to be cordial enough, but they're technically enemies, right? Because the GM wants to get the asset, which is the player. I don't want to really call a player asset, but he wants to get the player at the cheapest amount possible, and the agent wants the player wherever he goes to get the most money possible, right? So they're enemies of each other, basically. So it really doesn't matter that he's speaking badly of Rich Paul or whatever, because it's not like they have to have the most friendly relationship anyway, right? Because they're on the opposite sides. But to kind of insinuate that he doesn't know what he's doing or he's giving bad advice, it's interesting to see how some of these GMs are going to start to feel about Rich Paul going forward. Now, we've seen this story with Rich Paul a few times now. This is not new when it comes to Rich Paul and when it comes to this method of kind of empowering the player to go where the player wants to go. We saw it this summer with Indiana. Paul George, the first step that LeBron and his guys, Rich Paul, whoever, even though Paul George isn't signed to him, but you can get in a player's ear in different ways. It doesn't have to be the agent. It could be a player who they look up to or whatever. I personally believe LeBron told Paul George, hey, if you want to come play with me in Cleveland, we can get it done. You just have to say it publicly, right? It seems like that's the first thing they do. They put it out publicly that the player wants to, go to a different situation. Or if he's approaching free agency or whatever, they put it out there that, hey, in his free agency, he won't re-sign with the team no matter what, right? And when you do that, it immediately puts pressure on the front office to, well, then we have to go ahead and trade him, because if he's saying he's not going to re-sign, we have to think about our fan base. We have to think about, this and that and this and that. So what always ends up happening is they always end up trading that person. And because it got to the public, it's a sense of urgency on the trade that isn't good for the trade itself. We saw it with Paul George. Paul George made the comment that, hey, no matter what, my time is done in Indiana. I'll play the season because I'm under contract for this next season, but my contract I'm done in Indiana. There's no way I'm resigning. I'm going to the Lakers. As soon as they said that, the pressure goes on Indiana to say, hey, we got to get something for him. So all of a sudden they go seeking trades, whereas they maybe could have had a season to try to woo him, try to get him to re-sign the contract. But when you make a public statement, it makes the front office have to react right away. And then I think we saw, now once again I'm not sure, but I think we saw the flip side to this season, this offseason as well. Because we all know, I personally think he was doing this to try to get traded to Cleveland, right? Cleveland put together a trade package. They got a third team involved since Indiana didn't want Kevin Love. They got Denver involved, or they got whatever the situation was. I think it was a three-way trade between Denver and Phoenix and Cleveland, or it was Cleveland, New York, and Phoenix. So whatever the case may be, they got it done. The GMs got it. Well, not even the GMs. The owners got agreed to a deal in principle. And what did we see from, I think it was Kevin Pritchard with the Indiana Pacers? He told them to sleep on the deal or whatever, and then he went and made another deal. The reason why I think he did that is because it was just kind of an act of spite against LeBron James and his group of people or whatever. Because I don't think these GMs like players messing around with their teams, with their organization. Like, in this situation, to try to like make Paul George speak publicly so that they can trade him to LeBron's team so they can try to win the championship. I think Kevin Pritchard, because from what I understand, the Kyrie Irving trade, Indiana could have ended up getting Josh Jackson and I believe another piece. I don't know exactly. I think Kyrie was going to Phoenix, Josh Jackson was going, and I think Frank N or something like that. Somebody was going to New York. And then Paul George and Eric Bledsoe ended up in Cleveland. I believe that was the how the trade went. And there was multiple types of trades, basically that same type of situation, the same thing. Eric Bledsoe and Paul George ended up in Cleveland. And I just feel like Kevin Pritchard was spiteful and just like, look, you guys are screwing around with my players, you're tampering or whatever. The NBA can't do anything about players tampering. So, hey, I'm not going to give you the trade you want. Even if it's the better trade for our team, I'm not going to give you what you want. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and trade them to Oklahoma City for a lesser package just to be spiteful because I don't like y'all messing around with my team, right? That's honestly what I believe is happening. And what's that? The sour grapes by the GM, because you got players and you got agents messing around with organizations, you know, trying to basically build up Cleveland so they can win the championship. Not that I disagree with that. I'm just saying I believe that agents, the GMs, are starting to get irritated at that trend going on. This time, I just think it's a GM speaking out about it. I think he still feels that same way. I think he feels like Rich Paul is telling his client to speak out that he wants a trade so that they can force the Phoenix GMs and the front office to make a trade. Because we also heard that Eric Bledsoe earlier this season, not even earlier this season, before the season even started, stated, probably before training camp, said that he didn't want to, you know, be the point guard for the Phoenix Suns anymore. And they still didn't do anything about it. And since they didn't do anything about it, I think it was a situation where Rich Paul was like, look, just announce it publicly. It puts the pressure on the team to go out and make something happen, which it absolutely does. So what we see from Ryan McDonough here, I just think that it's his clapback. He's just deciding, hey, I'm not going to take this crap anymore. Stop messing around with my team. Tell your agent to shut up and you play. I think that's basically what this is talking about by taking a dig at Rich Paul. It's just very interesting. I'm going to be watching this going forward to see the ongoing relationships between GMs and Rich Paul going forward, because it just seems like Rich Paul, LeBron, the whole crew, whatever, that they're starting to get irritated with them kind of manipulating things in the favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers just because LeBron plays there. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the issue. Phoenix Suns GM ripped Rich Paul. What do you think? Leave your comments below. If you enjoyed this content, as always, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And as always, join the Hype Squad. Click that subscribe button. All right, see you next time.